all you cool cats and kittens. It's Carole Baskin at Big Cat Rescue, and it is a beautiful morning here. Oh my catness. I was coming to see if the cats are still eating, and my guess is servals have not been fed, because the very first cat that I saw was Alethea sitting in her feeding lockout. And actually, this is a very iconic spot. If you guys remember in Tiger King, the picture you see of me all over the internet is I'm kneeling down next to that feeding lockout, and Joseph Lyon, who was at the very end of his life and just looked absolutely horrible. He had lost most of his mane, and he was very thin, and he was standing in there getting a drink of water, and he took up the whole cage, unlike Alethea, who is so very tiny. But the camera only showed you that and made it look like our cats lived in boxes, which was utter nonsense. This cage was not only this cage, but everything behind that barn, all the way down to the end of that barn, way down there. And he had the cage next door as well, which is now Des Serval. But I see, since Alethea Serval is sitting here in her feeding lockout, that she must not have been fed. So maybe we'll actually get to see some of the little cats being fed, and maybe we'll see some of the little cats, period. Let's go look. How many of you joined Turpentine Creek founders? Tanya Smith and Scott Smith and their curator, Emily McCormick, and Dave Enden last night on their fireside chat. I really enjoyed that, and I thought they answered so many questions that people had. Hi, Alethea. She's like, unless you have food, do not linger. They talked for 2 hours answering questions. I am sorry, I don't have anything for you, baby. Is that your toy? I'm not going to touch your toy. That's your toy. Yeah, it's all yours. I found it really interesting. I could not tell how many people were there. They kept talking about all of these questions that they had in the chat, but they must have been anonymous, because I could only see like 5, and yet they were clearly a lot of questions that they were answering, especially when Scott went to his lightning round where he got about, I don't know, maybe 30 of those questions answered really fast because they were running out of time. Anyway, it was their, I think NWA stands for Northwest Arkansas Gives Day yesterday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. I hope you were helping them out with that. I might be wrong. Maybe this is part of Alethea's cage too over here. Shows you what I know, because the next one is Des. Each one of these cages is, I just got spider all over my camera. Each one of these cages back here is 1,800 square feet. It's really hard to tell because of the shape of our cages. Hi, Des. When the cats move to Turpentine Creek, those cages are square and trapezoid, so you'll be able to see that they have even more space than what they have here. Oh, everybody's so excited. There must be food coming. Yeah, I can see you're just licking your lips about it. And talking about it. He gets himself so worked up. He's so excited about food, and he goes hopping all around on those 3 legs of his and just wears himself out. Yeah, I'm sure it's on its way. And then the next 2 cages are Ginger Serval. There she went. I see her, Hutch. Yeah, she's over here by you. Oh my goodness. Where'd she go? She went way back there in the back. Well, we'll come talk to you. Oh, don't be hissy. If I have no food, I'm no good, eh? Yeah, where are those people that actually have the foods? Bring the foods. Oh, looks like somebody might be on the scent of some food coming. Do you smell it? No? You were just hopeful? Just coming back here to see if we could see Ginger anywhere. Nope. Hey, Antonia and Deb, thank you for posting that link. Hi, Dawn and Jose. I have this banner up here. Whoops. It tells me I'm raising money, but it doesn't tell me when you guys make a donation, and it's covering up your comments, so I can't see. Yeah, we can't see what the questions are. But since Deb's here, I'm sure she can answer your questions for you. Let's go see Nala next door. Oh, many spiders. I am not a fan of spiders. Come on, you guys. You know we walk through here every day, right? Where did Nala go? She was there a minute ago. I saw her. There she is. They keep running into their feeding log out. Like, is it here yet? Did the food come while I was gone? Don't want to miss it. This evening is fundraising Friday. All the cat puns there. And Afton will be leading that, so I hope you guys will join her this afternoon. Be on the lookout for that. I'm sure Deb will tell you what time that is scheduled to be, since I forget what time that was going to be. There's Zukari. He has the best vantage point because the food is going to be coming down this road. Oh, right into a spider web. Ugh. Ugh. All over my face. I have some creepy Carole in my hair. It's that time of day for the spiders, huh? Yeah, they're just everywhere. They don't bite. They just leave that fine silky web all over the place. Oh man. Are you so disgruntled? Is breakfast late? Yes, these are African servals. They should be in Africa. Unfortunately, stupid people thought they could make a pet out of them, which is about the dumbest thing ever. And the reason for that is they can jump 16 feet straight up, which is why all of their enclosures have roofs here, and probably why you keep hearing about servals being loose in neighborhoods all across America, because people can't keep them contained. They can rush you at the door, and then they're out and over your 6-foot fence, no problem. And somebody is having way too much fun. Ta-da! What time is your fundraising Friday? 3 p.m. So be sure and join Afton at 3 p.m. And I'm gonna go out there where they are and see who they're gonna feed, because it looks like it might be Carole, which would be fun for you guys. Apparently they were over there feeding the duck. Cheese duck. I see they were dividing and conquering, so Emma went to feed the servals and Afton is feeding Carole Tiger. The way they have to do this now, because Carole is 23 years old and she has a very hard time turning around in her feeding lockout. So they have created a elevated platform here. This used to be a elevated water bowl for one of the cats who lived here before that needed that. They put a platform or a plate on top, and that way she doesn't have to lean over to eat, and when she goes in her feeding lockout, she doesn't have to worry about being able to turn around. And she is behind a closed door over there. They're just using this entire roofed area as her feeding area so that she's locked away from her food while Afton fills up the plate. All the yummies. A true sanctuary does not buy, breed, sell, allow public contact with the animals, or take the animals off-site for exhibit. I'm not sure what the question was, but it looked like that was Deb's answer, so just repeating that here. Hey, Solly. Yeah, Carole does still have a pretty good appetite, despite her age. You can see she's kind of lame in the back end. The vet recently put her on some gabapentin in case her slow walking was due to pain. It's kind of a double-edged sword. So when you give them Gab, they are not in pain, but now they're kind of drunk looking. It had gotten to the point where we were afraid she was going to start wearing the fur off of her toes by dragging her back feet, though, so we had to do whatever we could to make sure she's comfortable. So you can see Afton just opened the door. Hey, Adam. Hi, Bill. Hi, Shri.
Fried chicken eggs in some of that.
Is that a favorite?
I think it's every big cat's favorite because they don't typically get them in their diets. If we have extra, they get sprinkled in. Potato chips are just fun. Well, I call them potato chips.
So that little crunch you just saw, that was a chicken neck. And Afton was saying that's not much of, we don't give chicken necks as the main part of their diet because it's really nothing but gristle, but the cats love those. And she was saying it's kind of like their version of potato chips. So now that she's figured out there's some chicken necks in here, she's picking through looking for them. Hey, Phyllis. Hi, Nancy. And Kika and Michelle. Good morning, Haley. Is that Crow thinking he's going to get your breakfast? Going to bring some friends? Some Wren friends? I haven't seen anybody talking about Kimba the tiger's paw. Is that something somebody saw on one of the live webcams last night? Hey, Catherine. We're just watching Kali Tiger eat. She's 23 years old this year, and you would never know it just watching her stand there. I mean, she's in good condition. Her coat is glossy. They don't turn gray like us. Usually when they get to be her age, you can see all the way down their spine. Their spine will stick out because of the loss of muscle mass there. You can barely make that outline of her stripes being a little jagged, but it's not as prevalent as so many of the older cats. Hey, Janet and Medat. Yeah, what Deb said is absolutely true. She was actually born, Kali was born in a circus wagon outside of a sanctuary in Austin, is it Austin? Augusta, Georgia. And then she came here as an adult, so she's always lived the sanctuary life. She's never been somebody's mistreated, ill-fed pet. She's never been forced to jump through circus hoops or allow people to pet her. She never had to go through any of that horrible stuff. I see some people asking about Brittany again. It's always been Brittany's day off. Fridays, or what is my phone doing here? Fridays and Saturdays have always been Brittany's days off. And then 5 days a week, she's going to be doing animal care because we just don't have enough volunteers showing up anymore, and we need to make sure these cats are properly taken care of. So that's why you see me doing the lives. Weirdly enough, I don't even qualify to feed and clean cages. I stopped doing that back in the 90s to pursue our federal bill to ban the use of big cats as pay-to-play props and to phase out private ownership of big cats. And so I would have to go through all of the training and certifications, and by the time I got all of that training done, all of the cats would be at Turpentine Creek. So in addition to her being probably 20 years younger than me and more capable of doing the animal care work, she's been trained to do that and has been doing that for many years, and it just doesn't make sense for them to try and train me to do that and keep her doing the lives. So 5 days a week is her work week, and then 4 of those days she'll be doing feeding, cleaning, and projects around the property, like groundskeeping. And then 1 day a week, as she has the eBay auctions to deal with and has to make posts for our online theme for things that we are selling at bigcatrescue.biz. We're selling out of everything that's in there, so the prices are super cheap. They're as cheap as they're ever going to be. We're not going to be replacing any of that stuff, except for maybe the digital downloads like our sponsor kits. And we haven't, the jury's out on how we're going to handle that going forward. But for right now, we're still doing the sponsor kits and the downloads, and then phasing out all of the t-shirts and bracelets. And she's getting every bit of that. She is going to be a member of the Clean Plate Club. All right, my phone is just really not liking that angle. And yet this is not a great angle either because we can't see her head. I hear somebody calling. It sounds like it's coming from over where Priya is, but people have been saying she's not been calling. And everybody knows Priya knows that she moos. She's not been mooing. So I don't know if that's her or somebody else. I see the feeding cart is still down here by servals. Maybe we'll see some of them eating. That lake is absolutely gorgeous, is it not? Such a treasure. One of our volunteers, Babs, said that she knows somebody who might be interested in buying this property and just turning it into a park. And I would absolutely love that. I seriously doubt anybody is going to be able to pay what we need in order to keep our cats taken care of at Turpentine Creek and to do the work that we want to do in the wild, just to turn this into a park. But we are all ears if they want to make an offer on it. That would be so lovely to be able to keep that lake just as it is and have all of this greenery right here in the middle of Tampa. It's kind of a blessing and a curse. The thing that makes this property so valuable is the fact that everything has been built up around it. It's the only big tract of land out here. And any developer has to go miles and miles outside of Tampa, down either the expressway or the interstate, if people are to have any kind of access to downtown Tampa. And I can be in downtown Tampa from here in about 15-20 minutes. So it makes it extremely valuable, which is wonderful for the longevity of our operation, our mission, which is to save these cats in the wild and of course continue to take care of the cats that we have rescued at Turpentine Creek. There I see Emma feeding servals. I don't know how I missed her before. The sun's so bright and I'm staring at this tiny little screen. I didn't see her. Good morning. Didn't see Ryan at all. There he is. Look how floofy her tail is. She's just so excited still. Sorry, we have so many layers of wire here. If I were to go right up and get in front of her, I'd make her too nervous. Let's go follow Ryan. Oh, the cats sure are. They're like, hey, 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 buddy. Look at them coming on the run. Woohoo! This is Alethea. Thank you for sponsoring her, Kathy. Thank you, everyone who has sponsored and who continues to sponsor these cats, even though they will be moving in this year. The tigers probably by July and most of the small cats by October. We have still committed to take care of all of their food and veterinary care for the rest of their lives. So for a cat like her, that's about $3,000 a year. And for cats like Carole the tiger, that's $10,000 a year. Plus we're building their cages there. And I forget how much those were each, but they're ghastly expensive. As you know, prices have just increased ridiculously since COVID. And steel is not cheap. But those will be brand new cages, and as Scott and Tanya and Emily were saying last night, the work that's being done out there in what they call the freedom field, all of the cages that we're building and all of the extra cages that they are building, will take care of not only our cats, but all of the cats who end up being rescued now that the Big Cat Public Safety Act has passed. There will be some places that will probably go out of business, and so they will have capacity to be able to take in those animals. And most of our cats are really, really old, so they don't have many years left in them, but those cages will be around for the next 30, 40 years and be able to house so many more, if not big cats, because I think that problem's going away pretty quickly, but bears and wolves and hyenas, which have turned out to be surprisingly a problem animal. It's not that the hyena is a problem, it's the idiots that buy them and think they're going to turn them into pets who are problems, but then you end up with hyenas with no place to live. And primates, non-human primates. I don't know if Turpentine Creek has any intention of taking in primates, but I think that that's going to be a big problem, because the people who can't use cats anymore for cub petting are using bears and primates mostly. Some are using animals like sloths and kangaroos. So all of those cages that are being built will be big, wonderful homes for our cats, cats who need to be rescued because of the passage of the bill as the captive population dies out, and then all of the other animals that people continue to abuse. One of the best things that you can do to end that kind of abuse is every time you see it on social media, call the people out for the jerks that they are. There's no good way to take a baby from its mom and then use it as a pay-to-play prop for money. There's just no excuse for doing that. And if every time they post an image of somebody showing off with some wild animal on a leash or hugging some wild animal, if all you do is give them a hard time and call them out for the selfish jerks that they are, they're not going to do that anymore. You guys have all the power. You are their voice. You have the ability to be online and be in all of those social places where people are trying to exploit wild animals and put a stop to it. Hello from Hamilton, Indiana. These go by so fast, and all I can see is like the person's name and then the top line, because as soon as the next comment comes in or the next person joins, it goes up the screen to where I can't see it. But it looked like somebody was asking what you can do if you see that an animal is being exploited or somebody's doing cub petting, which is now illegal. We just sent out an alert. You can always go to catlaws.com. That's where we post all of the alerts to stop circus acts that are using these animals and to call out the people who are breaking the law. The new law that passed makes it illegal for anybody to allow public contact with big cats of any size, their cubs or adults, and it phases out private ownership. So people who have them have until the middle of June to register them, and if they don't register them, then the Fish and Wildlife Service can seize them and put them in proper sanctuaries. Yesterday we spent a good deal of time talking with the Big Cat Sanctuary Alliance. We're on the advocacy committee there, and Howard was reporting his conversations with the Department of Justice, the U.S. Department of Justice, and the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and the work that they are doing to try and put an end to cub petting and private ownership. And so we sent out an alert based on them saying they thought that that would be helpful to put West Coast Game Park on notice. And what I loved about that was I forgot to look this morning. Yesterday, like right after it went out, there were about 750 of you who took action on that. And you sent a letter to West Coast Game Park in Oregon and said, hey, it's not cool that you're using that jaguar cub for cub petting. And we know that you're breaking the law. And what I loved about it is so many people wrote to me and said, hey, I have friends or relatives, or and one of the people that said I live in Oregon is somebody that is going to really, really make their lives miserable, because that person lives close enough to check on them every single week and see if they're breaking the law. And so I love that you guys are going into these places and holding these people accountable and making sure that they're not sneaking around and trying to do cub petting on the sly. If they find that every time they do it, they get slapped with a $20,000 fine, it's not going to take long for them to stop exploiting the cats. All right, well, she is down to the last little crumbs. And Ryan is watching Des to make sure that he eats all of his food. If you're new to us, this is our morning ritual. Every morning, keepers start arriving, I think at 7:30. They do the morning meds, and then, we're gonna see Jasmine getting fed. And then they go out and feed the cats, and then they go back out and they clean up whatever the cats left behind so that we don't have a problem with vultures or rats. Jasmine is on vacation rotation. It's a 2.5 acre vacation spot there. And she just heard, it's breakfast time. Oh my goodness, it's breakfast time. She's like a kid. If I push it around on my plate, does that count?
I shoved everything in the corner so that it looks like I ate more than I did. I've done that before.
I have no doubt that you did, Afton. Afton said she used to move her food around on her plate so that it looked like she ate. She's not having it, huh? So Emma's putting the door down so that she can pull the food out without being harassed by the tiger. This little piece of wire around the bottom, we call it duck wire. It's because we have a lot of ducks out there on the lake that love to eat meat. Who knew? Squirrels and ducks both. I just never thought of them as being carnivores, but they'll come in here. So all of this carrying on is not because Emma's taking her food, it's because she's in heat. You gonna bite my camera? That would be bad. I know. Wow. Let's go back on vacation then. Vacation Rotation has 2 live webcams. One was right there behind Emma, so you can watch the cats when they eat every morning. And the other one is way down there at the end of the far corner of this enclosure, but it has an amazing zoom on it, so you can watch Jasmine on vacation. Just go to bigcatcams.com and you'll see all of our cameras linked there. Who is calling this morning? I mean, it sounds like it's coming from over there, which would make me think Priya, but I didn't think she had been calling.
I haven't heard it up close to anybody.
That's Arya does. Arya and Priya will call.
I guess maybe it could be echoing off the lake. I'm sorry, Ryan? So it's like everybody. Could be anyone. The only two we're sure it's not is Kali, because I can see her, and Jasmine. That is a weird thing. If you've ever lived on a lake, it's so bizarre how sound travels across it. It's not linear. It's weird. It's like it can bounce. Yeah, it's very bouncy. This is actually my favorite time of the day, and it's right after the cats have eaten, because that's when they're taking their baths and settling down for their naps. And somebody's about to yawn because they're so sleepy now that they have a full belly. Oh my goodness. That morning sun in your eyes is so pretty. See, I was trying to get the sun in your eyes. Isn't that gorgeous? On your beautiful golden eyes. Not that I want the sun in your eyes, just to see how they glow, but I'm not going to do it. Because you're a cat. Why would you do anything I ask? That would be so uncat-like. Deb, you sound like that guy from, was it Fantasy Island? The plains, the lake, the lake. I bet most of the people on this don't even remember Fantasy Island. Alright, well, I'm just going to take a spin around the property and see if I see anybody bathing or starting to take their naps. It's like Arya and Max are already in their dens. See what Kimba's doing. still haven't seen Kimba. All of these cages that we've been looking at since I've been talking about Kimba are Kimba's cages. There he is. Oh, I'm sorry. You're not expecting me? Yeah, it's okay. Don't want to scare you. He's back there underneath that den. It looks like some of these controls on my DJI work and others not so much. You can barely make out his head under there, and his tail is barely sticking out to the right. If you look at that blue ball and look straight down, it's his tail. I love the sound of trains. The Veterans Expressway that I ride my bike in to the sanctuary used to be the train tracks. They bought or owned, I don't know if they bought or owned, the property underneath the train tracks, and they don't go that way anymore. So they turned it into the Upper Tampa Bay Trail. It's Lisa, I'm talking with Beecher. So are those meals that have been fed or to be fed?
They have been fed. Everybody ate pretty well except for Mr. Beecher.
Well, what's up with that, Beecher?
My grass is coming in.
I'd rather have grass than food. Ugh, crazy cat.
Hey, it's Lisa. Beecher.
So what Lisa's asking is, since he didn't eat anything, should she pick it up so that it doesn't get covered in ants and maybe try him later? Can you see Nabisco running? I see that. Somebody's being all frisky. You gonna chase the cart? Would that be fun? Try not to run into the barricade here. Oh, Flint, are you gonna join in? These guys are just crazy right after breakfast. You're so crazy. I can see you already ate. Yes, it's all gone. You got some crumbs there you could eat. Oh, do not grab my ankles. That would be terrible. That would be terrible. Yes, it would. You are going to get pounced because Mr. finds you. He's right behind that hill. He's going to get you. He's going to pounce you. And they're off. I have to catch that on instant replay. They have a live webcam in their enclosure, and it's also one of the great Explore cameras that has the pan tilt zoom and has a real person trying to keep up with these wildlings. Have you been running for a while? You're quite out of breath. Here's how they divide and conquer. So Flint has my attention, following him, and Nabisco over there will be watching for me to get too close to the fence. And the chase continues. They are naughty, aren't they, Victoria? So naughty. I really love bobcats. They are just, I don't know, they range in size from like 15 pounds to down here, 25 pounds. Up north, they can be 40 pounds. So they're one of the smaller exotic cats, but they are just so fierce, so indomitable. They don't take anything off of anybody, and I love that. I saw somebody say wild kitties like to play too. Yeah, that's one of the things I've noticed, because of course I love all kinds of cats, but it seems like the exotic cats, the wild cats, they maintain that kittenish play for their whole lives. My domestic cats are probably about 4 years old now, 4 and 5 maybe, and already they've become like little old ladies. They hardly ever run or play, or if they chase the red dot, it's only for a few minutes and then they're like, oh, that's just too much work. Whereas with the exotic cats, they always find something interesting to chase or play with. I guess it's part of what keeps them in hunting condition. Nature tells them they need to practice their skills, and a lot of their skills are through play. Laurel and Hardy. If you ever saw that show, Flint, you might be offended. Those guys were pretty goofy. Well, it looks like they are going to go even further off into the woods to have their morning naps. Thank you, everybody, for joining me this morning. Be sure to tune in later with Afton's fundraising for Friday. We really appreciate all of your help in taking care of these cats for the rest of their lives, and all of the help you can give us in saving wild cats from extinction. That's our next big goal. We had to pass the Big Cat Public Safety Act first, because there was no way we would be able to save cats in the wild as long as there was a legal smoke screen in the United States that was allowing for the trafficking in their parts. But now that we have closed that, we are able to really put the pedal to the metal and try to save these cats before they go extinct in the wild. Thank you, everybody, for all that you do for us. Love you guys.